Shavasti, many of us are looking for a quick fix and wish that the path of healing would be easier. Could you say something on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's quite a lot to say about that. That was also a part of my past as well. Certainly back in the 1990s, when there was a plethora of different modalities out there, all promising nirvana. You know, that we could go and have 1 or 2 sessions and be fixed, be healed. There's something to say about healing. I think there's an illusion that many of us buy into, this idea that once we are healed, then we'll never experience sadness or anger or a negative emotion again. And life just isn't like that. Life just isn't like that. So, for example, we can feel totally at peace in terms of our relationship with our mother and father, and yet war breaks out in another country, and we can feel sadness about what we're seeing on the television. So it's not as if healing means that we are then immune from any kind of negative emotion. What many of us have looked for, and some of us still do, and I have in the past as well, looked for a way to get to this imaginary goal of I'm healed, and I want to get there without actually going through the pain. I don't want to feel the pain. I want to circumnavigate the pain. I want to bypass the pain. But my experience tells me that the only way to really heal something is to pass through the middle of it. And it's really our experience with our own personal pain and our journey with our own personal pain that enables us to become compassionate human beings. And so it makes us more complete and whole and tender and gentle and compassionate. And so my question is, why would you want a quick fix? And so as I've mentioned in previous videos, when I look at a healing sentence such as, I take you as my father, and I've spoken in an earlier video about that, taking the parents as they are, that's not a one-off journey. That is a journey of a lifetime. And so it becomes incremental. And so even though I meant it 10 years ago, how I said it 10 years ago is not how I say it today. It doesn't have the same meaning. And so a healing journey is never really complete. And the reason why it's never complete is because we're not the same person that we were 10 years ago. Our life experience is not the same as it was 10 years ago. We've added more experience to life. We've had more relationships. We've had more friendships. We've had more life experience. And therefore, even though something might feel resolved or healed, we discover a few years later there's a different aspect to it that's never appeared, that's never arisen within us. And so the real honest truth is that the quick fix does not exist. And it really comes from this desire, the desire for a quick fix. You know, if there's a modality or a method out there that will instantly solve our problems, really comes from the avoidance of pain. The avoidance of feeling the full spectrum of human emotion. There's a real difference between living in grief and experiencing grief. There's a real difference between allowing the flush of anger to move through us and living a life in anger. They are not the same thing. And so living a life in grief and living a life in anger is often to do with our loyalties to the family system, or something has been so overwhelming for us that we cannot find another way out of it. However, those emotions on their own, anger and grief, are not bad. They're not bad emotions. And so, for example, when we see injustice, anger can be a healthier response to that. And so there's a big difference between living in those feelings all of the time to the exclusion, almost complete exclusion of other emotions, or living the full spectrum of human experience. And so quick fixes are often around avoiding uncomfortable feelings. Let me find a way to resolve this without having to feel the depth of human experience.